Hello, and welcome back to Lyre. Wasn't that a fun chat that we had with Pro Tag Kun, Richter? Yeah, I think it was. Once he reaches the beginning, he turns to the guards standing at the entrance. There will be no further visits for Mr. Reed. There is an order that needs to be relayed to the rest of the guards. Stationed down here. Am I clear? The guard salutes in response. Good. Adrius turns to the direction, to the guards standing by the stairs. He walks past them, snapping his fingers. The guards follow behind him, their clattering armor echoing throughout the tunnels, until all that's left is silence. Okay. Oh, okay. Part 3. Richter! We're just hopping all over the place, aren't we? Standing by the cell door, I wait to hear until Adrius is out of earshot. I hear him mumble something about Lyre to one of the guards. He's really doing it. Damn it. I was trying my hardest to keep my cool while he was down here. Especially since he caught me while I was in the mind's eye. I reach down, grabbing the clump of straw into my fist, and proceed to throw them to the side in a fit of rage. I get on my knees and bury my face in my hands, hunching over and grimacing into my palms. Knowing I would still get to see Lyre while I was down here was the only thing keeping me going. That and trying to figure out this mess. Throwing a tantrum won't solve anything. Now all I have is this incessant voice in my head. It still sounds like they're talking to me through a wall, but it's getting easier. It certainly makes me feel better. I whisper this under my breath. For the time. If it makes you feel any better, I'm sorry that this happened to you. Oh please, you saw it coming. You knew everything that's going to happen. Not true. It's a bit more complicated than that. I stand up and walk over to the bed, sitting down on its hard surface. I wish I could warn you about these things. Really, I do. Guiding my avatars is like taking care of a plant. A very annoying and needy plant. They constantly require things, and if I give them something wrong, they die. That's reassuring. I understand you miss him, but you can't let this sway your resolve. I know. I won't let it. I just wish I didn't have to be away from him. He's practically the only person I have left to talk to. Besides you, of course. Oh, sorry. I'm going to raise the game volume. I did not realize it was that low. So sorry. I am well aware. I lay down on my back, staring at the cracked ceiling. Do you feel as if you've grown dependent on him? No. It's not like that. It's not like I need him or anything. I just... Well, shouldn't you know? You've been watching this whole time. You know how I feel about him. There's no response at first. Do you love him? Of course! No. This isn't an interrogation. I don't doubt you. Oh, now that looks too loud. What am I doing? There we go. That should do it. Yeah. I'm asking you here, right now. Their voice becomes a bit more clear. Do you love him? I stare at the ceiling and wait before answering. They can probably read my thoughts or something and know exactly what I'm going to say. It seems impossible. Even irrational for an outside perspective, but yes. I love him. Good. Use that. You can't let these things stop you or get in your way. I sit up from my resting position. You're right. I can't let this stop me. I just hope that Lyre is doing alright. Do you know if he's okay? There's no response. Damn. You're good. Please. You've been doing this for countless years. I learn from my mistakes. And if you're going to get out of this, you're going to have to do the same. But I'm getting better. I've been practicing using the mind's eye to see into the past for a couple of days. I'm getting a little better at it, being able to see different events here and there, but nothing specific. But it's all so far back that it has almost no relevance. They're not even close. Oh, you're not even close. Seeing into the past is one thing, but seeing something that so recently happened, that is a monumental task. But I'll keep working at it. Good. I sit down on the floor and close my eyes, getting ready to enter the mind's eye again. Unfortunately, time in the real world does pass, if I'm just having visions. Time only stands still outside when I enter the realm of the mind's eye. It's something like a sanctuary. I don't really have anything specific in mind. Right now, I just want to practice. I just need to focus, like Tigran told me. It takes a moment, but soon I feel as if I'm walking on air. Then the weightless feeling leaves my body, and I now feel as if I'm walking on solid ground. It's soft, though. Grass? Suddenly, I feel warmth, and my eyes are open to a completely different place. The body I'm living in right now feels different from Reiner's, but it also feels the same. The scenery is definitely familiar, though. There's no mistaking that this is the castle gardens. Some of the plants are different from what I personally remember, but everything else for the most part is the same. It feels like a warm summer day, but the breeze is strong. Birds take refuge in the trees and chirp to their heart's content. Whoever this is, they seem to be looking around a lot. It's as if they're searching for something. It's not a frantic search, though. At one point, my vision is lowered and I can see the rest of their body. It's a female body, which throws me off at first, but for some reason it doesn't feel strange. One would think this scenario would be weird, but I don't feel anything strange. It's as if I've lived in this body my whole life. I've found that after a while it starts to feel that way. The more times I've done this, the more I start to feel at home. I take my mind off of the philosophy of the situation and instead try to wrap my head around who she is. She's wearing an emerald dress, an emerald green dress made of a light cloth. It reaches the ground in the back, but it lifts up in the front, allowing me to see her hooves. They're small and dainty, but walks steady and firm. The fur on her body is light brown. Am I inside the mind of the queen? It's a possibility. I'm pretty sure this person is a deer. She continues to scan the area, leaning over to look behind the bush. Where are you? She speaks in a soft, chiding manner, and it feels strange having the voice feel as if it's coming from my mouth. I don't think I'll ever get used to that anytime soon. She looks up into a tree, and through the leaves I can see someone. It's a young Vaughn. He's perched in the tree, looking down at her with a smiling face. There's no antlers on his head, and his cheeks are covered in spots. His eyes are big, and the pupils shine like amber. It's Adrius. He's very young, though, about 6 or 7. His clothes are nice, and the shirt seems to be a size too big. But he lets out a giggle, and his tense body relaxes. It's as if he thought he couldn't be seen if he was absolutely still. This is also most definitely his mother. Okay. She crosses his arms, and I can feel the smile curl on her lips. I found you. That's not fair. His voice is high in pitch, but soft. Oh, and why is that? He goes to point at her, but quickly brings his arm back to the tree. Yeah, the tree limb he's holding onto. You're peeking. She laughs a sweet and happy laugh while shrugging her shoulders. Was not. I just got lucky. He says this with an exaggerated attempt at sarcasm. You have to admit, it took me quite a while. She leans against the tree he's in. And it did take you a long time. I'm almost starved. He says this in a dramatic way, how a child usually would when exaggerating something. It's honestly surprising seeing him full of so much joy. I assumed he wasn't completely awful, especially as a kid, but it's nice to see him smiling. Closest I've ever got to seeing that was a smirk. Can you hide this time and I seek? She steps away from the tree and nods. Yes, sweetie. You can come down from there now. He looks down and a sliver of fear gleams in his eyes. I can't. You got up there this time without my help. Surely you can get down on your own. He peers over the branch again and shakes his head. No. She lets out a sigh and holds out her arms. Okay, jump down and I'll catch you. From that far away? He shakes his head more. Trust me. He hesitates for a moment, and then does a weak leap from the tree. Not before plucking a wild flower from one of the limbs. He lands in her arms, and she catches his weight, swinging him around a little bit before setting him on the ground. Thanks, Mom. The small Adrius hops up and down a bit before running over to someone by one of the garden walls. I immediately recognize who's by the wall. Oh, isn't he? Look at him. Rainer is tending to a small bed of flowers. He's wearing a cotton shirt and a leather apron. He's covered in dirt and water, but he still looks as regal as ever, with his crown sitting atop his head. If I could feel my insides right now, they would be twisted up and into a knot. Seeing him again sends a rush of sorrow through my mind. And then I sense Eleanor's emotions. Eleanor? Elena. Wow. I don't know. They're warm and fuzzy. Father, did you see it? Rainer probably didn't see it, but he turns around and ruffles his head fur. Of course I saw it, fuzzball. You weren't even scared, were you? Adrius looks off to the side in embarrassment. A little bit. Rainer looks down at him with a warm smile. That's okay. The important thing is that you did it anyway. I got you this. He holds out his little hand, and the crumpled wildflower can be seen laying in it. Wow, look at that. It's even my favorite color. He picks up the flower by the stem and holds it between his fingers. Since it's so important, I'll put it up here. He places the flower between his ear, next to the crown. Elena picks up her dress and starts to walk over to them. How do I look? Adrius struggles to hold back laughter. Silly. Yeah, I probably do. Adrius points at a few flowers, and Rainer gets a little bit excited and starts to talk about them. He seems much happier and energetic compared to the calm and collected king I'm used to. Before the queen can get any closer, my vision starts to fade. Although the scenery gets pulled away from my eyes as if it's being carried down the river. I'm back in my cell, sitting exactly where I was. There's a commotion down the hall, and I can barely make out the voices. You get distracted too easily. I'm trying to listen. I lean a bit closer to the door, trying to hear better. State your business, please. I'm here to see Lord Richter. It's Leaf. Hearing his small voice is more welcoming than I thought it would be. I wish to speak with him about something. Very good. Do you need help with that? I can hear Leaf grunt slightly. No, thank you. I should be able to manage. If I listen closely, I can hear the pitter-patter of the taloned feet echoing down the hall as he gets closer and closer. I get up from the floor, go sit on the edge of the bed by the door. Soon, Leaf comes into view, and I can see that he's carrying an old book. Even to me, this book would be large, but for him, it's monstrous. It's bound in leather that's practically falling apart, and some of the pages are falling out of the book, crammed in between other pages. He's holding it in his arms and sets it down with a big thump. Hello. He looks down at the ground, and I can tell he's a bit nervous. Hey, what did you want to talk about? Oh, I spoke with Lyre a little while ago. About what? I'll get to that in a minute. You didn't actually kill the king, right? You're seriously asking me if I would kill your king? I just wanted to hear it from you, okay? Okay. You have to admit, it's not really looking good in your favor. Lyle managed to convince me, but if I still believe you did it, would you blame me? He brings up a good point. We had our chat from time to time, but he had every right to assume I had done it, given how it happened. No, I wouldn't. Especially given the circumstances and everything that's happened. Well, I believe that you weren't the one that did it. There's something wrong with it all. But enough of that. I've been doing a lot of research on those headaches you've been getting, along with that weird dream. Ah, yes. This should help. Or not. These books are usually heavily inaccurate and filled with harsh exaggerations. I try to tune Tigran out as Leaf opens the book to the page he had bookmarked. That's good. I still do get headaches from time to time. The constant noise doesn't help. Really? It's so quiet down here, though. Not all the time. Oh, okay. Well, you were saying that you had a full recount of the death of your queen, correct? Of our queen, not yours. Ours. Yes. Along with the fact that it was from Renar's perspective. Yes, it was from his perspective. Is there anything that says how to stop the headaches? No, there isn't. But I can stop those for you easily with the right medication. I found something very interesting, though. I searched in the library for hours and I eventually found this book. It's old and dusty and was crammed between some other books on the highest shelf. At first, I almost skipped over it, but I realized this might have some answers. It's a bit religious, though, so bear with me. Let's hear it, then. Okay. You're familiar with the Supreme Being, Tigran. See? All those silly titles they come up with. Somewhat. Our land was named after them, right? Yes, well, they were an ancient god that the people of this land used to worship back when religion was one of the pillars of our society. Their influence was strong for a very long time, but after a while, faith was broken. There are only a few people who still worship them today, and any churches we would have had are most likely crumbling ruins. I've heard that there's one that's still intact. You can visit it somewhere in Dries. Drysians are very obsessed with preservation. Leaf? Sorry, I was rambling. My point is, they believe that on a very rare occasion, someone would be born with the ability of retrocognition. Yeah? Like seeing the past? Yes. It was said to be a blessing from Tigran themselves. A way to help living beings guide themselves to a brighter future. It says here that those with the ability can see past events and dreams through the perspective of others with proper training. They can even see those events while conscious, and can sometimes view said events as an outsider. He skims over the pages with his gloved wing. There's not too much information on this, though. There's something about witchcraft and other nonsense. There's something about a mind's eye. A few mentions of people with the ability being executed, but nothing is very well documented. That last one isn't correct. I promise. The ability hasn't shown up in a very long time, though, and seems to have been lost to time. Lord Richter, I believe that those dreams you were having weren't just dreams. It seems you were having visions. You might just be the next avatar of Tigran. Hearing him say this lifts a weight off of my chest, knowing that I might not be crazy. The weight is immediately put back down, though, once I realize what this could mean. I can't trust anyone with this information right now. If word gets out, it could cause serious problems. You want my advice? Play it off. That's right. Leaf, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I've come to the conclusion that it is just a dream. Nothing more. Yes, but isn't it a bit strange? You're a man of science. You really believe I have some magical ability to see into the past? Leaf looks at me through his goggles with an impatient gaze. There's something else in this old book mentions. It mentioned the fact that any time they look into the past, their eyes change color. Eyes change to a different color. He leans in and stares at me with his beady little eyes. That's odd. Your eyes are green. If I recall, they were always that color. Oh, thank God. Thank God indeed. You're welcome for that. I may not be able to do much, but I know what I'm doing. Either that, or it's just a coincidence that they would be green after the last vision. Maybe you're right. I just thought I would come down here and entertain you with the idea. Lyle seems skeptical too. Also here. He hands me a small glass jar of what looks like pebbles. I'm not supposed to give you this, but it's my job to make sure people are healthy. I also trust you. You'd better not take advantage of that fact. I take a vial from him. Thank you. You're welcome. Take one at a time. Take one anytime you get a headache, and no more than that. Also, hide them. He goes and picks up his book. He struggles to lift it, but eventually straddles it in both arms. I'll try visiting again soon. Before he walks off, he turns around. Oh, one last thing. Lyle says that he loves you. He wishes he could be down here with you more than anything. He turns around and starts walking away. Bye, Leaf. Goodbye, Richter. His footsteps trail off into the distance, and I'm again left alone in silence. Alright, I'll end the part here, everyone, so I'll see you around.